Squile, Yewan Hatten Squalwin Teetsiets, Nathan Cheximiya Allison Queen Sna, Tenachin Cla Homolchison Ochomeo, Skohot Me Shoth, Unwanok Squalwin, Eotin Sequetals. Good morning, everybody. My ancestral name is Cheximiya. My given name is Allison. I come from the village of Capilano from the Squamish Nation. Feels really good in my heart to be here and all my relations. Thank you to each and every one of you for joining in live with me today from the Squamish Lil'wat Cultural Center's page. I am very excited that we are making plans and starting the conversations of how we are going to be opening our doors in the future. We do understand not everybody is going to be comfortable with leaving their homes at this time, and so I was really excited to create this activity for loom beading with some at-home materials that hopefully you have to be able to follow along. This is a bracelet that I created, and another one here. You can tell I really like blues and cool colors. The Cultural Center is very excited that we are currently doing so much cool activities and also getting ready to plan what's going to happen for National Indigenous and oh my goodness, where's my tongue? I'm tongue-tied today. So National Indigenous Peoples Day, formerly known as Aboriginal Day, and so many good things are happening as the world is slowly starting to open up, but we just want to make sure everyone is still staying safe and at home. Hi, Opie. Go on, go on. Thank you. He really likes the camera. Okay. Go on. Thank you. Love you. We'll give you snuggles later. So, for those of you who are joining us with our live demonstration here, we have a piece of cardboard, and I cut a couple of slits in there, so those will be our guides for our wool. The wool is going to be the base of our bracelet. We have a bunch of different beads here. I have a big needle, and I have some sinew, some tape, and of course some scissors. So, if everyone's happy and ready to get started, let's go! First I'm gonna take my cardboard, place it in front of me, get my wool, unravel it, making sure I have no knots, grab a little bit of tape, place it down so that it adheres to our cardboard, and then from there I'm gonna come up around my cardboard, and we're going to spiral around and around, like so. If any of you have watched my headband weaving activity, this is a similar process to get the weaving ready to go. There we are. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's tape this other side down. There we go. Make sure it's not going anywhere. And then we're going to be working on this side that doesn't have the tape, that has our full pieces here. From there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of my sinew here. I'm going to tie it on like so. And working with sinew, I always like to do multiple knots because it's a slippery material. There we are. Then I'm going to be working with my long side. Use my needle. Get the sinew loaded on there like so. And then, depending on what type of pattern you would like to do, you could always map it out using graph paper. But what we're going to do is a bead will essentially be placed in between these warps of wool that I have here. So each row will have 1, 2, 3, 4 beads. So if we're going to do a pattern similar to this one here, I'm going to start with 3 of the same color and 1 of a separate color. Bring the beads down and we're going to place them in those gaps. From there, we're going to take our needle, and because the beads and the sinew are on top, we're going to come under and through the bead. So again, we come under the warp and through the bead, under the warp and through the bead, repeating till we get to the end. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull our sinew all the way through and tighten that piece up, and that'll be our width. From there, what we're going to do is to continue on with this pattern, we're going to step this dark blue bead over 1. So that means I have to do 2 turquoise, 1, 2, a dark blue, and another turquoise. And our sinew is coming from the bottom, and that means our beads get placed right over top, like so. Grabbing our needle, coming under that warp, through the bead, under the warp, through the bead, and carrying on as we go. There we go. And then under that last warp, pull it nice, and making sure our rows sit in line with each other, pull it nice and tight, and there we go. We've stepped over that blue once to the left. So for our next one, we are going to do 1 turquoise, 1 dark blue, and a couple of more turquoise. Bringing our beads down, lining them up with the wool and our rows, coming under again, through the bead, under the string, through the bead, under the string, through the bead, under, through, and lastly under, pulling all the way through our sinew, through our pattern here, keeping it nice and tight. And you may have caught on by now, but we are making sure they stay in place by when we have our sinew, we are wrapping it or weaving it through our warps so that it locks it in. See how it's not going anywhere? There we are. And so to continue this pattern, we're going to start with a dark blue one, and the rest are going to be this beautiful turquoise color. There we are. There comes the other one. Oh, is she going to make appearance too? So, again, we have our beads. They're on the string. This and through this, the sinew is through the beads, and that's all on top of our warps. And so now when we come under and through the beads, that's how it will lock it in and stay in place. There we go. And last one, pull through, keep it nice and tight as we go, because we want a beautiful edge. So this edge over here, you can see the sinew, how it loops around. And so we don't want big loose bubbles of sinew happening. So that's why we keep it nice and tight. And if we wanted to do this pattern, we would then do the opposite, coming back down this way. There's so many possibilities when it comes to creating this activity. Remember, each and every one of you are your own artists, and you are more than welcome to create different patterns, use different colors, maybe create more warps and make it wider. There's so many possibilities. If you make a longer base to start with, it could be a longer piece, which means you can wear it around your ankles and you can make it into so many cool things. Which reminds me, kind of want to try to make this into a purse handle now that I'm thinking of it. Ideas are always going. So let's see. I think I want to do a slightly different pattern since I have this one already. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy it from the starting place where I started with 3 turquoise and a blue. Bring in my beads through and placing them in the lines that I need them. Coming through. For those of you who are aware that our Songs of Our Nation CD has dropped and is available for purchase in our shop website, you'll be lucky to know, for those of you who love to download music, we are in the midst of working to get it available on YouTube. So I'm very excited for that. And we'll just continue on with this pattern here. So that means I'm doing 2 turquoise, a dark blue, and another turquoise. Place it in line and carry on. So it depends on who you are making this craft for. If you're making it for yourself, if you're making it for a gift, for a loved one, or somebody you know, then remember everybody has different size wrists, and that means if you're working towards having it for a small child, you may only want to do a small area. If you're working for someone as an adult size, you can have a larger area. So this one here goes around my wrist and almost comes right back to itself. So have that in mind when you are creating your beautiful pieces. Turquoise, blue, turquoise. Turquoise is our next pattern of our beads to keep this pattern going. And then we're going to come under, through, under, through, under, through, under, through, and under one last time. Pull it nice and tight. There we go. And one more. Starting off with the dark blue. And the rest are this beautiful turquoise. There we go. So, last row, here we go. Always going through the bead and under our warps to make sure that everything stays nice and in line. And that concludes our secondary line of the blue, starting from one side to the other, creating this beautiful diagonal, also known as a chevron, in our piece. Pretty cool. And maybe I will try to do a few more. And that means I'm going to start with turquoise, ending with a blue. For those of you who are following along with me, it would be wonderful to let me know where you're visiting us from. It's great to see how far and wide these videos reach. And if you create this piece alongside with me or in the future, please tag us or share with us. I'd love to see everyone's hard work that they've done and created. And I really appreciate people joining me each and every week. We do have one of my dear friends in Chinamkin from Lil'wat Nation, who is an avid participator within these videos, and always love to see his creations after working with him for so many years. He's a very talented person, and I really enjoy his feedback and company when talking about these activities. There we go. Turquoise, blue, turquoise, turquoise. Oh, almost lost that one. There we go. Good thing I found it before I went through. And last row. Here we go. Under, through, under, through, under, through, under, through, under, and pull tight. There we go. So now we have 3 beautiful dark blue diagonals with my beautiful turquoise beads here. And just like we did at the beginning, we're going to take our end piece. We are going to make a knot on our last warp here. Bringing it through, pull it nice and tight so it sits nice next to our beads there. And remember, Sinew is slippery, so we're going to come around again, do one more knot there. And I just like to hide the sinew, so I first bring it back through the beads, pull it tight, and I'm just going to weave a few lines all the way through. Like so. Find an edge, do another knot just in case. Make sure it's nice and tight. Maybe I'll weave it back through this guy here as well. Snip off our excess. Get that guy out of the way so we can do the same thing to this end here. Weave it through the line. Weave it through this line. Maybe do a little knot if you can, if you have a long enough tail. Like so. I'm going to weave it through one more line. Oh, wrong side of the needle. That works. And get our scissors. Snip. There's all of our hard work right there. And so from here, what you're going to do is you're going to flip it over. Cut your warps. You can take it off the loom. I suggest doing some knots. So grabbing 2 pieces, make it into a loop, bringing those 2 pieces through the loop, and making sure the knot sits nice and close next to those beads. Can do the other side with 3. Making sure the knot sits nice and close to these beads. And our other side. And I like to make sure that I do the 2 knots on the same side and the 3 knots on the same side. I don't know why, it's just what I like to do. And then last tie. Making sure a knot sits close. And there you have it. You can wear it around your wrist, tie it on. You can use a small elastic and sort of wrap it around. This is a little difficult, so maybe you can ask your friend to help you out. There you go, and there you have it. Your very first loom beaded piece with your homemade materials. And I really appreciate each and every one of you for joining me on my live videos. If it's your first one, you may not pick up the techniques right away, so you're more than welcome to go to www.slcc.ca/from-home, where all the live videos get uploaded and saved, along with multiple other resources that are available for people to continue learning about our culture from home. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.